What if I told you that nothing you've lived was ever random? Not that quiet pain, not that strange coincidence. It may sound like an exaggeration, but what if everything was connected by an invisible code, an ancient code, forgotten by many, yet always operating behind the scenes of your reality? It's not about fixed destiny. It's about a feedback system between you and the universe. The truth might be uncomfortable for some. You're not at the mercy of luck, but of your frequency. The external world isn't a canvas painted by some distant divine hand. It's a quantum mirror that reflects what you vibrate, think, and believe, even without realizing it. And that changes everything. Maybe no one ever told you there's a code behind your encounters, your repetitions, your subtle signs, even the silences of life. But this code exists, and once you learn how to read it, nothing feels random anymore. You begin to understand why some doors open and others don't. And even more, you start to choose what once felt impossible to control. In this video, we'll decode this ancient system together, not through magic formulas or empty promises, but through awareness, presence, and practice. By the end, you won't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" but rather, "What is the code trying to show me now?" The ancient code, as above, so below. Have you ever heard that mysterious phrase, as above, so below? It might sound like something pulled from an old alchemy book. But what if it's more real than you think? What's outside is a reflection of what's inside. The universe isn't chaotic. It's a tapestry, and each thread, including yours, holds the whole design together. Now imagine that cosmic tapestry, a weave of colors, textures, light and shadow, all interconnected. Now gently pull one tiny thread from the edge. Feel it? The entire pattern shifts, even if just a little. And that's true for the message you sent, or the gaze you avoided. Let me share something curious. Years ago, on a quiet afternoon, I walked into a random cafe. I ordered hibiscus tea and, for some reason, sat next to an old man with a white beard. We talked about nothing and everything. 3 weeks later, he recommended me for a job that changed my life. That's the code. The micro becomes the seed of the macro. The invisible detail of today becomes tomorrow's avalanche. Once you understand that, you start honoring every small gesture. Each thread, each step, each word, it all matters. It all holds power. This isn't spiritual paranoia, it's awakened sensitivity. Sometimes a butterfly flaps its wings in someone's heart and moves mountains in silence. Sometimes the universe's message comes in a stumble or a traffic delay, and those with eyes to see already know that nothing is by accident. So ask yourself now, what was that tiny, seemingly meaningless detail that almost went unnoticed, but changed something big in your life? Maybe a forgotten book on your shelf, or a quick conversation with a stranger. This ancient code, what the sages called universal correspondence, isn't locked inside religion or formulas. It pulses in your routine, in simplicity, in the random that isn't really random. And the more you honor the details, the more the universe responds in detail. But of course, this leads to a deeper question. If everything reflects everything, what happens when you look at something with deep intention? Can that gaze shift the world around you? Or does it shift you, and the world simply mirrors it? Take a deep breath, and let's explore that in the next code. The Quantum Observer, where science meets the ancient. Imagine a mirror, but not an ordinary one. This one only works when you look at it. If you smile, it smiles back, but if you don't look, it simply doesn't exist. That's exactly what quantum physicists discovered. The observer doesn't just record what they see, they influence what happens. The very act of paying attention changes the outcome. The universe reacts to your focus as if it's always waiting for your command. Sounds like magic. It's pure science, and it's also what the ancients already knew even without laboratories or formulas. Hermes whispered what Einstein later proved. The world responds when you respond to it with presence. Let me tell you something small that turned me upside down. For days I kept repeating, "Nothing ever happens for me." Until one day I shifted my focus. I opened a notebook and wrote down everything that was already working. Less than a week later, I received 3 unexpected invitations. They had been there all along. I just wasn't looking. To look isn't merely to see with your eyes. It's to see with intention, with energy, with meaning. It's putting your whole self into what you're observing. And when you do that, reality begins to bend to your perception. So try something now. Pause. 5 slow breaths. With each inhale, choose one clear intention. Small but true. It could be, today I see opportunity. Feel the difference between wishing on autopilot and observing with purpose. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Possibilities don't appear out of nowhere. They simply become visible. And what if this power of observation was more than just a detail? What if it's a silent key, the one that decides what blooms and what fades? The universe is always ready, but it only mirrors what you have the courage to face. And that leads us to an even deeper truth. Vibration and resonance. You as a living radio. Everything vibrates, everything pulses, everything emits a signal, including you. Even when you're silent, you're saying something energetically. And the universe doesn't hear your words, it picks up your frequencies. Now imagine you're a radio. No matter how high quality it is, if it's tuned to the wrong station, all you'll get is static. But when it's aligned with the right frequency, the sound comes through crystal clear. Life works the same way. You only receive what you're tuned into. Have you noticed how some days everything seems to go right, and others everything gets stuck, delayed, off track? It's not just luck or bad timing. It's resonance. It's your inner state vibrating at the same level as what you're attracting. I know a story that illustrates this perfectly. There was a woman who used to constantly complain about her job, her co-workers, her pay. She thought the problem was everything around her. One day she paused. She became quiet. She spent a month praising small details. She replaced "I hate this" with "What can I learn here?" 2 months later, an opportunity showed up at a new company. She was referred without even asking. She didn't force it. She tuned in, and reality responded, just like a well-calibrated radio. Want to try this now? Choose an anchor phrase that reflects the station you want to tune into. It can be simple, like, "I'm on the frequency of opportunity." Repeat it throughout your day, even in silence. Notice how the phrase starts to guide you. It's not word magic, and it's vibrational alignment. You begin to act differently, see differently, decide differently, and when your attitude shifts, the field shifts. It's that simple. Now, what if everything you want is already available, just waiting to be tuned in? What if your desire already exists on a specific frequency? Maybe it's not about asking for more, but about adjusting the dial of your attention, and that takes us to a realm where time no longer works the way you thought it did. Topic 4. Time and timeline selection. The time you know, Wabi, isn't real time. The one ticking on the clock is just a translation, a simplification created by the linear mind so it can organize itself. But in the realm of consciousness, everything is already happening now. Past, present, and future are just books on the same shelf. Picture this. You enter an immense library, thousands of stories waiting, romance, tragedy, adventure, miracles. You pick one, open it, begin living that narrative. But all the other books remain, waiting for your next choice. That library, though, is the quantum field, and the book you pick up is what your attention chooses to read, or better yet, to live. You can consciously choose to change your story, but first, you must accept that multiple scripts already exist. Neville Goddard spoke of this with poetic precision. He shared the story of a man who, even while unemployed, began mentally living the life of a successful professional. He would imagine the smell of morning coffee at his new job, the sound of the office chair, the echo of footsteps in the hallway. And soon after, without knowing how, everything began to align. The right people appeared. The offer came. It wasn't magic. It was timeline alignment. He assumed the role first, and the world followed. Because time responds to identity, not to clocks. Let's do a small exercise right now. Close your eyes if you can. Choose a future scene you'd like to live, but don't imagine it as distant. Assume it as fact, as if it were already real. Feel the details, the temperature, the clothing, the space around you. See it with the eyes of now, not of longing. Stay in that scene for 2 minutes, in silence. This is more than just visualization. It's choosing a new book. It's stepping into a new timeline. And what if your reality doesn't shift by effort, but by the frequency of the future you decide to inhabit now? You're already walking a path, but there are others waiting for your yes. The portal is your attention. And the reflection always starts in the mirror within. The inner mirror. The outer world reflects your inner state. You know those days when everything around you feels out of place? Impatient people, closed doors, blocked paths. Our instinct is to blame the outside world. But what if the problem isn't out there? What if it's the mirror, or rather, the lens through which you see reality? Imagine wearing glasses with dirty lenses. You could be standing in front of the most beautiful sunset of your life, but everything would look dull, blurry, lifeless. The problem isn't the sky, it's the lens. That's exactly how our internal beliefs work. For years, I carried a silent idea that I wasn't worthy of receiving something truly good. That belief was like an invisible shadow. Even when everything looked promising, I'd end up sabotaging myself without even realizing it. One day I wrote on a piece of paper, I deserve to live what I desire. Simple, direct, but it caught in my throat, because deep down, I didn't believe it yet. That was when the lens cleaning process began. I started changing small decisions. I accepted an invitation I would have declined before. I asked for help, where I used to remain silent. Little by little, the world began to respond differently. But the world hadn't changed, I had. Life doesn't give you what you want. It reflects who you are. It doesn't respond to empty phrases, but to the true vibration you carry deep inside. If there's scarcity within, the outside will show resistance. If there's permission within, life will start to flow. So grab a pen and paper now, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and ask yourself honestly, what belief is dirtying my lens today? Write it down, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts, because the beginning of real change isn't doing more, it's cleaning the image you hold of yourself. And when you do that, the mirror responds. It reflects a version of you that's clearer, brighter, more alive. But to change that reflection, you must understand how the mirror was programmed. Topic 6. Paradigms and the power of the subconscious. You may think you're living based on your conscious decisions, but the truth is, 95% of your life runs on invisible autopilot. That pilot is your subconscious. It drives most of your results, behaviors, and reactions, even when you believe you're in control. It's like an old computer running outdated software. You can type in new commands, but if the system's old, it'll freeze, repeat, and reject anything unfamiliar. That's how the mind works. It loops old patterns, even when you're craving something new. This system is called a paradigm, a dominant mental pattern, and it's been running since childhood, installed by parents, school, religion, society. Phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, or real men don't cry, seem harmless, but they become deep-rooted codes. And these codes become limits you don't even realize you've accepted. I remember a woman who used to say, I'm way too shy to speak in public. For years, she avoided every opportunity. Until one day, she decided to challenge that belief. She started by recording short videos on her phone alone. Later, she began speaking up in meetings. Today, she gives presentations with confidence. What changed wasn't her voice. It was the software inside. She wrote every day, my voice has value, and acted even through the fear. That repetition, writing plus action, reprogrammed the mental system. Want to begin now? Think of a belief you know is limiting you. Now write an opposite, empowering affirmation in the present tense. If the belief is, I'm not good enough, your new phrase could be, I am enough and I grow with every step. Oh. But it's not enough to write it. You must live as if it's already true, even if it doesn't feel real yet, because the subconscious doesn't distinguish between pretending and believing. It records what you repeat with emotion and intention. And once the software changes, the reality follows. Now let me ask you, if you could install a new master idea in your mind, what would that new truth be? You can start today, because the signs from the universe speak directly to this hidden part of you. Synchronicity, the silent language of the code. Some things happen, and you just know that wasn't a coincidence. It was alignment, a message, a perfect fit. You think of someone and they call. You mention a topic, and it shows up in the very next video. These moments are called synchronicities. They're not luck, and they're not accidents. They are the universe responding to something you vibrated, thought, or felt, even without realizing it. It's like the invisible is stepping on dry leaves, and you, attuned, hear the sound. But be careful. Not everything that happens is a sign. Discernment is part of the spiritual path. Think of it as an inner GPS. It only blinks when you're on the right route. The clarity doesn't come from the event itself, but from the quiet emotional response it stirs in you. Let me tell you a story. A young woman unsure whether to move cities asked a clear mental question: "Show me if it's time to go." The next day she picked up a random book, opened it, and the sentence read, "You are ready for the next chapter." Still doubting, she went on with her day. But later she heard a song with the exact same phrase, and that evening she opened a video titled, "If You're Waiting for a Sign, This Is It." 3 months later she moved, and life flowed like never before. That's how the universe speaks. It uses the simplest things to touch the most open souls. But you need full presence. Otherwise, the signs slip through your fingers like wind. They come and go. So here's a simple, powerful exercise. For the next 24 hours, stay alert, but really alert. Watch for repeating words, symbols, unexpected encounters, and write them down, even the tiniest ones. This habit trains your eyes for the invisible, and the more you recognize, the more the universe speaks to you. Because those who honor the whispers receive the clearest signs. And when signs are followed, movement begins. The law of action, the code, demands movement. You can believe, vibrate, visualize, but if there's no movement, nothing blossoms. Energy needs direction. The code responds to intention, but only when it walks hand in hand with action. Otherwise, it becomes a dream stored in the drawer of time. Think like a farmer. He chooses the seed with intention. He picks the soil wisely, but then he needs to plant and water, even when he can't see anything growing at first. It's the same in the spiritual life. You emit, you project, you feel, but what changes your timeline is the concrete step, even if it's small, even if it's scary. Vibration prepares, action confirms. I remember a friend who wanted to move cities for years. She had maps, vision boards, visualizations, but never took a step. Until one day she sent an email about a job, thinking it wouldn't lead anywhere. 3 weeks later, she was hired and packing her bags. It wasn't the resume that worked the magic. It was the gesture of moving toward the desire. Reality only opens the door when it sees you standing in front of it, with your hand reaching for the doorknob. The code needs to see you in the field, not just in your mind. Action doesn't have to be grand. It can be a message sent, a course started, a yes you've been postponing. It's the symbol of commitment to what you say you want. It's telling the universe, "I'm ready." And the universe replies, "Then come." Here's your invitation today. Take one concrete action in the next 24 hours, something small but real. Take a step that reflects the new version of yourself you're stepping into, and watch how the pieces begin to move. Because miracles need space, and space is created when you move. Everything we've explored so far only integrates when it's practiced, but there's still a final secret, a daily ritual, simple and silent, that decodes the code with precision. The daily decoding practice, a 3-step ritual. All wisdom is lost if it doesn't become practice. And if the code that shapes your reality can be read, then it can also be decoded every day through small rituals. Nothing overly mystical, nothing complex. Just 3 simple steps that tune you into the creative field. Step 1 is clarity of intention. 3 minutes. That's all it takes. Close your eyes and visualize clearly what you want to live. Not as a dream, but as a reality you've already claimed. See it, hear it, feel it, breathe it, as if it's already happening. Step 2, align your body with the vibration. Thinking isn't enough, you have to feel it in your cells. Take a deep breath. Let your body absorb the scene you created. Let your heart beat as if you were already living it. That feeling is the emotional code that activates the right frequency. Step 3. Take tangible action. 10 minutes committed to a real movement. It could be a message, an email, some research, a small gesture, something that says, I'm moving forward. This step completes the cycle between intention, vibration, and manifestation. Think of it like tuning an instrument before playing your daily song. Without tuning, even the most beautiful melody sounds off. But once you're aligned, the sound flows, and your day responds with synchronicity, clarity, and flow. It's a way of stepping out of survival mode and into creation mode. Let's try it now together. Breathe deeply, 5 times. First, release tension. Second, think of your intention. Third, claim it. Fourth, feel it. Fifth, prepare to act. This ritual is not about perfection. It's about intentional presence. When you repeat this small protocol each day, you begin to live with more clarity, rhythm, and awareness. And the code, that ancient, mysterious, invisible one, begins to recognize you. Now that the code has been revealed, the question is no longer, does this make sense, but rather, what am I going to do with this? Because knowledge without application is just empty contemplation. But when applied, it transforms lives. Are you willing to find meaning where you used to see chaos? To act with intention where there was once only haste? To feel with presence where you once only reacted? Then look at your life today and ask, what within me created this reality? Which threads have you been pulling without realizing? What sign passed by unnoticed this week? What phrase have you been repeating that may be keeping you trapped? And what small action could you take today to honor the future you truly desire? You don't have to change everything right now, just move one piece. Drop a comment below. Which part of the code awakened something in you? What insight has been echoing in your mind? And what micro-action are you committing to take in the next 24 hours? Your share might be the sign someone else is waiting for. If this video stirred something inside you, like it, subscribe, hit the bell. This channel is your space to awaken with clarity and keep discovering how the invisible shapes the visible, one insight at a time.